This meeting to order of the Town of Waterford Planning Commission, January 13th, 2025, 5 o'clock p.m. We could please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. The Pledge of Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. We're going to start with the approval of the December 9th, 2024 minutes as presented.
I'll move to. Second.
First and second, any discussion? In favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Conditional use permit renewal Clearwater Acres. I see you here. Would you like to come forward, please? 6745 Northwest Highway. We'll let you take it away.
Okay. Oh, this is fancy. Right? Hi, everyone. Brianna Buckholtz. I'm with Payne and Dolan in our Land Resources Department. I'm here to renew our Clearwater Acres conditional use permit for an additional 2 years. We aren't requesting any changes to the permit, no new operations. And I'll just kind of give you a quick overview of our operations last year and then what we're looking at this year, just so you guys know what to expect. So pretty status quo as far as operations go. Last year was a little bit of a slower year for us. We were just processing and screening stockpiled material on site. So that stockpiled material is sand and gravel. And then this year we're looking at a little bit more site work. So we're going to be stripping some overburden and topsoil to uncover some new sand and gravel for us. And we're going to be reclaiming the pond in the northeast corner of the site. So kind of as we open up more, we're going to be reclaiming behind us and kind of keep that progressive reclamation going. And then this year we're also planning a crushing plant on site and doing some approved operations like screening, washing as well this year. I'm not aware of any complaints regarding our operations these past 2 years during the last renewal period. I don't think Tina or Heather has passed on any complaints.
If I did, I sent them over to Greg right away.
So I think we're all good there, which is great, especially with that Highway 83 project that happened right in front of our site there on 83 and O. We supplied a lot of material for that project. It all went well, so. Other than that, I know I come up here and say this every time I'm here, but if anyone's ever interested in a tour, we're happy to do that for you. Show off our operations, and I know there's some other sand and gravel pits in the town, so it helps, I'm sure, if you're more familiar with what goes on in there. So Tina has our information. If you guys are ever interested in doing that one-on-one or as a group, just let me know. Otherwise, let me know if you have any questions.
Brianna, anything noteworthy in terms of safety violations, safety records for the last couple of years?
Nope, no noteworthy. If I'm not, we are by MSHA federally, but no, I'm not aware of any severe instances there.
I move to approve conditional use for a 2-year period.
First and second, any more discussion? Yes, Mr. Gerke.
I know crushing is always a concern for neighbors. Could you explain when you'll be crushing, how many months, what time of the day, what days of the week, please?
Good question. I don't have our approved hours of operation on hand right now. But typically, construction season is when we're crushing on site, which is generally April through November. And I would expect that to be the same this year. Now, Clearwater Acres, we have a portable crushing plant come on site when needed. So like I said, we didn't crush last year. We are planning on crushing this year. And sometimes we might bring it in for 1 or 2 months in the spring, take it back out, take it to another site that needs material crush, and then bring it back for a month or 2. Now, I'm not certain on this year's exact schedule because we have to go through some more DOT bids yet. But if you guys are ever interested in the exact schedule, I'd be happy to give that to you.
Thank you.
So you have had the crusher on site in the past at
Yes.
this location?
Yep.
Are we aware of any complaints or noise concerns from those previous
If I
experiences?
had any, they would have been sent right over to Greg, so if they would have been handled, because I've never heard any follow-up.
Thank you.
Anybody else? Thank you. Okay, we had a first and second, no more discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Okay, we have the sub accounts. 5852 North River Bay Road. I know you went before us before.
Correct.
Talked about the footprint for the construction of the new home and garage. We've got the information in front of us. So I'll let you, if you wanted to start with anything.
Really just to kind of refresh everybody's memory. So our request is really the same. County has asked us to come back for town permission, for lack of a better term, to make sure that you guys are okay with the build. We got further information from our neighbors, which I believe was put on there, that they're okay with it. Met with Mr. Dubus a couple of different times for further clarification. We've gotten information since our last meeting and within the last couple of business days that there's nothing from a county standpoint or town standpoint that's been recorded that should inhibit us having our property rights, building any of that type of stuff. So found more clarity since that point in time, have not found any hurdles on our end, have went back to last to 1968, 34. Look like we should all be good from that standpoint. So,
And I know you did speak with Attorney Dubus, am I
Correct.
correct?
yes. Yep.
So you guys got a meeting or
Two.
We've met with them a
two
couple of
meetings?
Yep.
Attorney Dubus, did you want to?
Yeah, initially, Mr. and Mrs. Savakal came in initially for a road vacation, a vacate the railway. And I looked at it and I didn't think that that was proper or appropriate, nor should the town entertain such a project. You know, to vacate a roadway, actually, which is not a small matter. So I looked at it and I met, the first time I met with them, they indicated that their neighbor 2 doors down or right next door got the same variance within the last year or two. And that just shone a light. As soon as they said that, I inquired as to where that neighbor was. He can go into that a little bit more. I don't think that should be explored a little bit. He can explain that to you because I'm not privy with that variance, but I do believe what he says, and we could always, easy enough to look it up. Their request, like I said, the county may not go along with the variance anyhow, just so you know that. But I think if the board decides to do something, the most you can do for them is a variance. And they'll have to fight the county on their own. But I think really, Michael, you should probably go into what the plans are, so they, you got elaborate plans there, did you? Does everybody have?
We delivered, yep.
They went through a lot of work, by the way. A lot of effort to put together something very nice, I thought. But as far as why they should get a variance, I'll leave that up to them.
But
I have no problem with it at all.
didn't they have to get a variance to build this existing garage already? That's.
Oh, I don't know what they built, what they built there.
We found no, that's all previous owners.
Right,
We found no documentation on hand.
because I
Over
live,
the last month, the amount of things that we've not found while looking in the archives versus what we have found.
I live a few houses to the north of you.
Okay.
And this is ridiculous to me that there's never gonna be a roadway that goes where the existing right of way is. There's nothing ever gonna go
Right.
through there. It's people's
Right.
yards.
David, as we go through this process, at a point in time, clearing all that up, because one of the things that we found out on this is right now on our land where you see it's parcel 1, 2, and 3, we've been told it's not legally proper for that to be parcel 2 there, that should actually just be listed as one single parcel. So there's things that I would categorize under administratively that need to be done and corrected.
There are a lot of irregularities that need to be addressed.
I mean, I have no issue with this. I mean, I walk by there all the time. You're never gonna have a right of way there.
Right.
you approve it, I think you should be subject to the building inspector looking at the plan. I mean, you don't have to, you
Oh,
don't
yeah.
have the building plan.
All that's
Oh, yeah.
already been
Yep.
submitted to.
Well, I'm just subject to his approval.
Any more questions for them, anyone?
So just so I'm understanding, the way that we have it written up, and really I want to compliment you guys and the great job that you did putting all this together. So I thought it was really well done. In your written summary, you're saying that you have two requests of the town. You know, first being to redelineate the road right away
Yep.
for North River Bay Road.
Yep.
And then the second, to obtain proper variance or permit from the
Correct.
town, to move forward.
Yep.
So I'm just, wanna understand, are we, making decisions on both of those requests separately? How are we handling
You
that?
can if you want, I'm sorry, I didn't mean.
No, that's great,
You
Mike.
can, my recommendation is that the roadway not be, the town not incur that expense, they can give up variance, but I don't recommend going through the expense of delineating the right of way.
Mike, can you talk a little bit more about what's involved in that expense?
Here, the best we've ever done is these little roadways that aren't, they're laid out, but they've never been worked, okay? They're 150 years old, they're in Buena Park, Waterford Woods, they're tiny little strips. This is more of a job dealing with a plat that's on record or an unrecorded.
It's not
subdivision.
recorded.
Excuse me, please. Or an unrecorded plat. Now, but there's a roadway laid out somewhere on that document. There is a roadway laid out somewhere. And I don't think we should go to that expense.
Follow-up question, Mike. You mentioned the county mayor may not approve it.
Right.
And I agree, you all have gone through a lot here. This is incredibly professional and how it's presented. Appreciate you working with Mike. Mike, my question is this: what can we do, you know, in addition to the variance to help them
Just recommend
get approval?
Recommend approval.
Okay,
That's it.
I move that we recommend granting a variance for their request.
I'll second that.
Is there a second? Any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you, and thank you, Mike, for working.
Thank you
with
very
us.
much. Just to add 8 points time, David, for your point of, we will have to likely come back for the correction of the parcels versus all of that. Because the information that we've gotten just within the last
48 hours.
few hours, 48 hours, is that there is not a recorded document on this that would interfere with it. So I think I think it'll be an easier process than maybe thought of right now. But thank you very much for your time and consideration.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, no correspondence. Any forthcoming events? All right, can I have a motion to adjourn, please?
So moved.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Meeting adjourned at 5:13 PM. Thank you, everyone. Call this meeting to order, the Waterford Town Board, January 13th, Monday, 2025 at 5:30 PM. Please rise for the pledge of allegiance.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. We're gonna start with the approval of the town board minutes dated December 9th, 2024, and special meeting minutes dated December 9th, 16th, 23rd, and 30th.
Also move to accept them as printed.
I'll second that motion.
First and second, any discussion? All in favor? Opposed? We've got the approval to pay claims. I think you guys got that from Heather this afternoon. She got them done as soon as she could. We need to get those done. Last month, not having them done on time just really created some issues. She did not have time to get the treasurer's report done yet, there's just way too much stuff. I also ask anyone who wants open records, you know, you have the right to do that, but please give them a little bit of time to catch up on everything that they've been trying to do. So we do have the payables, if I could have a motion on that.
Motion to approve the tables. And pay them.
Is there a second?
I'll second that motion.
Thank you. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Thank you. I'm gonna push down in your microphone too when you're watching. Correspondence, we'll go through that. It has to do with the emails for the committee, so we'll go through that a little bit later. Department committee reports, is Mr. Horace here with us tonight? Tim, you want to take that over on?
He's not here, he just says there's very little through the holidays. Major item was to do a new county executive, Ralph Milliken, the executive director of St. County. That's it.
Thank you. Okay, and for police, I don't have the, did you ever report?
Yeah, he had dropped it off.
Oh, Bob, you want to read it?
For the month of December, for just the town, there are 29 traffic calls, 5 municipal citations, 2 warnings, no ordinance violations, no arrests, 1 DA wreck, no warrants cleared, 2 truancy arrests, 166 extra attentions or crime preventions, 58 business or building checks, 6 welfare checks, 16 rescue runs. There were no parking violations, no request for parking permission, and there were 3 assists to other jurisdictions for a total of 380 calls.
Thank you, Bob. I was made aware also that we heard that there were some break-ins in certain areas in Waterford and also into Burlington as well. So I know we live in a nice area, we just lock your cars, lock your car doors, because that stuff happens everywhere. So just a side note for that. Going along with the PD, I had, thank you, Rhiannon, I had sent out an email on our behalf to anyone who wanted to be on the committee to talk about the joint PD with the village, could send us their information, which quite a few of you did. And I did spend the weekend making a lot of phone calls, talking to a lot of you, and I appreciate you taking your weekend to talk to me. We do also have others that have trickled in from other people, so to not disenfranchise anyone, we're gonna take this entire list. We'll probably cut it down to about 4, and then we'll let the board choose, where to go from there. So the actual appointments won't be made tonight because we've got some trickle in at the last minute. So we'll do that shortly. We just got another one. Yeah, thank you. So we'll be doing a special meeting to get that done rather quickly. I see Troy, you're here. Have you guys done that yet as well?
We're in discussions.
Okay. So we'll go on to the discussion of possible action regarding the extending the Racine County Law Enforcement Services contract through February 28th. They did get through Corporation Council in okay for the lieutenant to stay with us, but just through the end of February. And we do have the agreement here. So everybody has had a copy of that. Any discussion on that?
Yes, the agreement is wrong. I'm looking at number 7. And again, we'll just extend it for 2 months, by the way, to sign another agreement.
Sorry, what'd you say?
Number 7 is wrong. Subject to the right of early termination set forth, this agreement shall be for a 2-month period commencing on February 28th.
So.
Should be concluding on February 28th.
Yeah.
Also, why do we need it? We already have an agreement with them, that was month to month.
They can't do a month to month. They extended it through February 28th.
Slightly minor thing, town president instead of town chairperson, so.
Yeah, that's fine. Any more
Make
discussion
sure that
on
they
that?
make that change. But with number 7,
And number 7 is wrong.
The
Town
word
president.
commencing- the word commencing should be changed to concluding.
I still think we should have Attorney Dubus look at this too. I just want to make sure it does not roll over anymore and it ends.
Anybody else? Nope, can I have a motion?
move to approve the contract subject to change of, concluding on February 28th instead of commencing on February 28th.
Subject to the town attorney's review or?
It's kind of a take it or leave it. If you want the sheriff to be here, if it makes everybody feel better, I'm happy to ask the attorney to look at it.
I'll second that.
First and second, any more discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed?
Tim,
Thank you.
all opposed, or all in favor?
Yes.
Okay.
Michigan Fire?
So for December, we had 16 EMS calls, 1 car accident, 4 fire calls, and we went mutual aid to 4 different departments. So we went out of our area 4 times to help the neighbors. And then we did receive our extrication tools, thank you. They're on the rigs, they will be going into service this week. So thank you guys for that.
Anything from Warren for fire at all? No? Okay. WWMD, anyone here from there? No. Board of Health, just our respiratory activity, respiratory viruses, RSV, flu, COVID, moderate levels and increasing. Get your vaccines if you want to get the vaccines. The DNR has put out a warning of thin ice. They've also put out some information, which many of you probably already know, but I'll just go through it anyway. Make sure people know where you are when you're going, and don't go it alone. Keep a charged cell phone with you when you're going on the ice. Do not travel to unfamiliar areas and do not travel at night. Wear a personal flotation device or float coat to keep you stay afloat. It helps slow body heat loss. Wear creepers attached to boots to prevent slipping on ice. Carry a spud bar to check the ice while walking in new areas. Carry a couple of spikes and the length of light rope in an easily accessible pocket so that if needed, you can pull yourself or others out of the ice. And if you do fall and remain as calm as possible and call for help while attempting to lift yourself out of the water. So just, they really pretty with a lot of warnings for thin ice. So please be careful. I do know that the ice fishing thing is coming up really this weekend as well. So just wanted to add that in there. All right, Kenny Park?
Park, I have nothing for the park. Just we need more snow for the sledding down. That's all we need for the park.
No, thank you.
Roads?
Road department, I have a few things. Year to date for snow removal events, last year we had a total of 22 events. And there was 11 times last year. Today, this year, we're at 5. So we're well ahead. Nothing for the next week or so. The events, so I think we're on track for a good winter when it comes to snowfall. Not so much for snowmobilers, but on February 13th on the Beginner Park Road grant, there is a public meeting here on the resurfacing project with the engineer, with maps and everything to show everybody the road project there. I have a whole pile of copies here. You guys all got the email on that? Okay, that's February 13th here. 4:30 to 6. Like a public hearing, they call it. So I can put some copies out here for everybody. One of our biggest projects to date. Get through that project. Okay, next is the agriculture grant. Just to recap that. Last year, they gave out $50 million. And that was 37 projects statewide out of 1,200 and some townships in Wisconsin. The projects range from 230,000 to 3.9 million. This next round is 100 million. How many projects will be approved? Don't know. They did say it's supposed to be worked on late 2024. Nothing yet. We hope to have something soon. They're probably behind because it's double the amount of work from last year. Hopefully we can get a grant, and that is for Lowland Drive and remainder of North Lake Drive. So hopefully we can, that'll come through. And I'll send that email out to everybody so that comes through. Any questions? recap the dump, the recycling center from 2023 to 2024. Trash is up 9, 30-yard dumpsters, yard debris is only up 3, and the cardboard's down 18. So with the moves that we have, a lot of people are putting more cardboard away and curbside versus taking it to the recycling center. So that's helpful, but we're still up on trash. That's all I have. Oh, and we'll get to the job site later.
Sorry, deal with you with dinner.
Oh, it's all.
Thank you. Thanks, Kenny. Tom, planning commission, Tim?
Conditional use permit renewal, Clearwater Acres, 6745 Northwest Highway. I was brought to the commissioners and it passed 7-0, extend the permit. Motion made. Pass it too.
It's a tie.
Sorry, I use the mic.
Got it, couple of them. First and second, any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Second thing was a town level variance, road vacation, town level variance, road vacation, sale of coal, 5852 North River Bay, request to construct a new home and garage on similar footprint. Applicants were before the planning commission previously, and they were tonight, and they've also met with Attorney Dubus. I will make a motion that we grant their town level variance to construct a new home and garage similar and present it to the county for approval.
I'll second that motion.
First and second, any more discussion?
What all would it entail to fix the right of way line?
A lot. We've done, like I said, the minor, in fact, we haven't actually, people have come, they've gone to the county. We could vacate a part of a roadway, okay, but we're not just talking vacating, we're talking about laying out as well. Because obviously there's gotta be a roadway there, so the expense would be significant. And, they're basically, if they, what they want is to build, they could accomplish that with the variance.
All right. We got first and second, any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Gonna go a little bit out of order because I believe WWMD just walked in. You can come forward, please. Hello there.
Thank you, board. Just want to let everybody know, we've got a public bid coming up. It's not quite out yet. We've got the labor contract to run our harvesters. That's already up. It's a 3-year contract. So in the next coming months, we'll get a public bid going out for that. Hopefully we have a few bidders that respond. That's all I have for the report.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm going into old business. We need a motion to move the review of ordinance changes discussed at the October 14th special meeting as it relates to recodification to the February 10th town board meeting. Another motion for that, please.
I'll make a motion, we move to February 10th, the review of the ordinances discussed at the October 14th special meeting.
Second.
For a second.
Second.
Oh, I'm sorry. I can hear you.
You didn't hear 'em.
First and second, any more discussion? All in favor?
Is that just because of all the stuff that's going on in the office?
Yep, yeah.
So will we be getting copies of the changes prior to that meeting then?
Someday you will.
Okay, someday.
Yes, you will. Certainly will.
Thank you.
Any more discussion? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Discussion of possible review action. We've talked about this before, but there were people who wanted to, I guess, make some comments or come forward about the stop sign on North Michigan and North Lake Avenue. Is Jennifer here? Would you like to step forward, please, and state your name and address for the record, please?
Sure. Jennifer Boudre, and my address is 28927 Cherry Lane in Waterford.
My name is Barry Novotny. I'm here with Jenny. Address is 28713 Mulberry Lane. So what's the background on this change? We were just inquiring.
We have people come forward because it had been an issue that people weren't yielding and it wasn't safe. So we had talked about it and decided to put the stop sign there, and Kenny was really quick and get the stop sign up there rather quickly. And now we've got the orange flags there too.
So how many people were behind this decision, or how many people made this motion? So I have a petition here, and this is, Jenny and I work full-time jobs, so this is just what we had time for. We have 66 residents that are opposed to this change, and I didn't have one person deny signing this. Nobody wants this change, so I guess I'm wondering, was there any research done on why this needed to be changed? Why was it done? Just wondering.
I mean, it came before the board that they thought it was a safety issue and the board discussed it, and that's what the board decided.
So I actually cite the Government Highway Safety Association here too, 2022, or excuse me, 2020, where they say that stop signs actually are not as efficient as yield signs. Yield signs can actually help the flow of traffic and cause less accidents. So what's it gonna take to get this change back? Because nobody wants this.
Yeah.
Nobody wants this change.
Nobody.
Ma'am, I had 66 people that say they don't.
But there's 5,000 people in our house.
This is what I had time
Yeah.
for.
Okay,
So don't say
when you speak, you're speaking to the board, please, okay? And
Well, then can you
Yeah,
take the
I
peanut
understand.
gallery
So-
out of it?
we can, does anyone on the board want to discuss?
I can tell you, I live on North Lake Drive, and I didn't propose a change, but it came from several people living on the west side where I live, you guys know where I live. And it was brought up to our attention by a police officer that lives down that way. And basically, he sent us an email today confirming that he couldn't be here tonight to speak to why this happened. This is like the third time we've addressed this issue. And, if you give me a second, I'll read it to you. I mean, I wanted to reach out again, and I saw the stop sign located in North Lake and Tisch Road once more is on the agenda. Due to family obligations, I will not be able to attend tonight's meeting. I assume the agenda says go back. It was a yield sign, also indicated yield to traffic currently type. As per discussion at meetings, this was becoming a problem. As the northbound vehicles rarely yield traffic traveling east on North Lake Drive, please stop at the intersection. I would.
Can I interject on that?
Let him finish, please.
I was reading this.
Well, no, I know, I just want to interject, so I remember what was said, but. that's
I have no
fine.
problem sharing the email with you or whatever.
No, I mean, that just sounds like opinion. That's his,
Well, no.
is that his personal opinion that
Exactly.
people aren't yielding? Does he have evidence? Was there a
I
state?
can tell you it's happened to me before when I lived to go to work in the morning, where
Was
I
there a
just stopped
study?
at my stop sign, I start to go. I
Did you,
start to
did
go
you make,
and
did
people
you
go right
make a
through it.
complete stop? Because it's,
No, I
it's
didn't.
it's yielding to a complete stop, not a rolling stop. And everybody seems to want to roll that
No,
stop.
I
sign.
stopped because I don't know the traffic coming at me. Some turn straight, some turn to the right, some turn down to your constitution.
So this isn't like a life-changing thing, right? It's not a big deal, right?
No, but it's avoiding an accident. is what it's
Well, the
doing.
yield sign avoids an accident, so it's
People
an
yield, but people don't
inconvenience
yield.
to everybody in that
Technically, they should yield to
neighborhood.
North Lake Drive. The stop sign should have the right to go first and they should yield to people.
Correct,
who-
as long
but
as
they
we
don't.
make a complete stop. So like, my point is like, this seems like it was changed on all personal opinion. That sign, do you know how long that sign's been there? Do we have a date?
Oh, we know that.
How long has that
that's,
yield sign been there?
I mean, 50 years.
Yeah, more, I think it's more actually. I think it's more like 60.
Yeah.
So do we have numbers on how many accidents have been at that intersection? Do we have, I mean, has there been one accident at that intersection in 10 years?
I've lived there decades and I've not seen one.
I haven't seen one, not one, and I've lived there 40 years. So I guess my point is like, this isn't a big deal. Nobody's gonna care. We're gonna all be dead and gone. Nobody cares about the sign,
Somebody
right?
brought it up to the board.
But it's an inconvenience. So my point is, somebody's bringing it up. Now, a lot of people are bringing it up that they don't want it. So my point is, why don't we just change it back?
You have something that I've never seen before, so I didn't know there was that much.
And I can
Nobody
leave
called
this,
me.
I can
ran
leave you
into Jenny,
with this.
and I
And this
didn't
is what
know
we
that.
had time
And
for.
I
I could get hundreds of signatures if I had time and not a job and not a kid to go up and down the roads and get everybody to sign. Nobody turned me away on this, not one.
And I think another part of this is at the cruise, it's a corner that turns, it's not a.
It's a sweeping turn.
It's a sweeping turn. So when you're already going through it, you're stopping, it's just very confusing.
We have a lot of goofy intersections in this town. Are you gonna change every single sign? What about down on Bridge Drive? That's a three-way with no stop on a right turn. It's no different than that intersection. Are you gonna change that one?
And there's a lot of traffic that comes out of the lake,
And
so.
do you
like,
think
people-
the issue is because it's new and people weren't used to it yet, and that's why it's the issue?
So,
Once they get used to
The
it, they'll
concern,
understand the timeline
the
there.
concern
Nobody
is there's not a lot of traffic coming from the left in the mornings. People around that lake, there is a lot of traffic and everybody's going and going to work and stopping is just kind of inconvenient. It's a sweeping turn, right? And I think the other concern is that you guys are talking about changing patrol for sheriff and this and that. I've already seen cops sitting there. There's people that have muscle memory. Muscle memory is a real thing. Everybody is rolling that stop sign because they've been freaking yielding for 30 years.
Yeah.
So you're gonna park a sheriff there now, and he's just gonna start writing a slew of tickets to residents. I think that's the other concern. So I guess my point is, the sign was changed because somebody thought it was dangerous. Well, there's a lot of people that don't. So we just changed the sign willy-nilly because somebody wanted it.
There were a few people that did want it, and they did express that there were quite a few near misses, maybe not quite accidents, but near misses, because that's such a weird intersection.
Near misses, but no accidents. It's a very slow intersection is my point too, right? It's a slow intersection.
So I just want to ask, is the problem because it's new and no one's used to it?
Well, I
yet?
already addressed those
Because if you're
questions.
yielding, you're kind of stopping to yield anyway, right? So does it make that much of a difference if you just stop, look, and then go?
It does, because if people start getting tickets because of muscle memory, yes, it absolutely does make a difference.
So maybe you need to be attentive when you're driving, right?
Well,
And
you
watch the signs on
changed
the road.
the sign that's been there for 60 years for no apparent reason other than 2 or 3 people had a problem with it. And now I'm bringing you lots of people have problems with it, probably more. But you don't seem to care or want to change it back or address it.
The board hasn't seen that at all.
That's right.
I can
I can
see
leave
that.
it with you. I can leave it with you.
Then leave it with me.
Absolutely.
You can't expect the board to
Yeah,
know
we
what
have
you're
never-
saying,
we have
you're
never
just
seen
waving it
that.
Yeah,
at
that's fine. Well, that's why you come to the meeting to submit this. So,
Prior would have been great, then they would have had a chance to look it over prior to the meeting.
So, I mean, we didn't have this information before, so I mean, it's, anybody else on the board want to say anything?
I mean, if you'd like to give me a half a year, I can go get 2,000 signatures. Like, you know what I mean? It's just, the point is nobody turned me away, right? So that shows overwhelming, disdain for the stop sign, right? And you're gonna know people on there, you're gonna know residents on there. These are people you know. We do like the addition of the little sign underneath the stop sign over on that other side that says, traffic from the other side, from turning left doesn't stop. That was a great addition. Because that's where the accidents are actually happening, if anybody goes over there. It's always people turning or coming at you when you're turning left at cruising from 164. So the point is nobody wants a sign, a couple of people wanted it changed. We'd like it changed back. That's all. Whether you do it or don't, doesn't really matter, so.
Sir, did you want to make a comment? You come forward, please state your name and address.
Hi, Jim Kuyava, 7622 North Michigan Road. I align myself with Barry and Jenny in the sense that this has been kind of screwy since they put the yield and not the yield's been there for 50 plus years that I can recall. And I'm not sure if it was Golden Meadows was developed 35, 40 years ago. That's when they stopped eastbound on North Lake. Has there been any consideration with this given to open up North Lake like it used to be? That's the Boss Road. It's 40 miles an hour, no stop either direction. Like plenty of intersections in our state. You got the Boss Road, that keeps going. The other roads stop. And you could have possibly, like it used to be, a yield to right of way for right turn only, going northbound out of the lake. Knowing that cars traveling east on North Lake are not gonna stop. Now that, I understand, I don't know how that's gonna get possibly a sign or signage for a period of time till people get used to how it used to be, because it's been quite a while that it's goofed up. But in my opinion, it's been goofed up for 35, 40 years with the stop and the yield. And I've experienced it myself. Coming out yield, come to a stop, they roll it at 25 miles an hour. And now you hit the brakes and now the fingers are flying. So if that was just the Boss Road, left, right, east, west, no stop. Coming out of the lake, a yield, maybe you can even consider that coming out of Golden Meadows, right turn, no stop, heading west on North Lake. I don't know, and I agree with, I didn't know how much study, survey, what was on it, there was just a couple people, or a handful, or what was spawned all of this. So that's my, that's what I gotta say. Thank you.
Thank you. Any more discussion from the board? Would anyone like to make any type of motion?
I would like to visit the area again and maybe make a decision next month, not right now.
You want to table it?
I'll make a motion that we table it till next month.
I'll second that motion.
First and second, any more discussion on this? All in favor? Oh,
Yeah.
sorry.
My only comment is, this has been brought up before, and last time there was only a couple of people here that were for the stop sign. It went up fast, but these people are here to bring the yield back up. So we need to listen to these people and make a judgment call. Otherwise, it's not gonna go away. It's gonna keep coming back, 1,000 signatures, 1,500 signatures. Then we're gonna have to make that decision.
Yeah. And we've got a petition here with, with names, so we've got a first and a second to table it, to look into it. Any more discussion on that? All in favor? Aye. Opposed?
Yes, I said aye.
Thank you. Okay, the next is the discussion possible action request of the city of Burlington for the town to transfer one of our class B combination liquor license reserve license.
How many reserve liquor licenses do we have right now?
Great.
Thank you, Gina.
No problem.
I'll make the motion to oppose, because once you give it up, you never get back.
I'll second that motion.
First and second, any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Thank you. New business, discussion and possible action, clarification on section 5.02, limitation on number of dogs kept. I know we went through this, this came up in discussion last time. Everyone's got a copy, I believe, of that ordinance, so I will open this up for discussion to the board. Yeah, there was a question with subsection E, correct?
Yes. The current ordinance states no person or family residing within any restricted area of the town as defined in subsection E of this section. As it's been pointed out by a board member, there is no subsection E on this ordinance. And when I go back, that subsection E at the time was called a quote restricted area shall mean areas within the town that are not agricultural.
Probably A1 too, because there's a lot of A2s that are 1 acre parcels.
Yeah.
So probably, intent probably was 50 years ago.
Yeah, because that's about what this
Yeah.
ordinance.
In areas that are zoned A1, you wouldn't need a kennel like.
For sure, right.
Have as many dogs as you want.
Yeah, I think that the.
That would have been the intent, you
Yeah.
go way back.
So in other words, it should read that you can't keep more than 3 dogs in a restricted area, which would be
Right now, it's
residential.
basically unenforceable right now.
Yes. So I don't know how we go about addressing that,
Well,
changing that for
if you
recodification.
want to change it, that's a policy decision. If you want to, by the way, the county does not have an ordinance like this. There's not.
Well, see, they no longer have kennels
Right, I'm just saying, they don't have an ordinance for,
for dogs.
yeah, I looked at, they don't have, no, they have dogs, but not,
Yeah,
not this ordinance. But years ago, didn't they have kennels in? Way back
we did,
when?
yeah.
I'm sure we have ordinances on animal welfare and cleanliness and sanitation and all that stuff. So I would make a motion to strike paragraph 9 in the ordinance.
The full paragraph. Someone second that?
I'll second that.
Any discussion on that?
you know, we had this couple with all these mastiffs a while back. And I think the neighbors were concerned about the number of animals that they had. So wouldn't it be sensible to have a reasonable number of dogs in a residential area so that we don't wind up with, you know, a situation with animal hoarding where you've got dozens of animals and then you have no way to enforce their, you know, complaints from neighbors, so.
Complaints from neighbors should have a justifiable basis, and not liking the shade of their chain link fence is not a justifiable basis for having a complaint about the number of dogs on the property. In a hoarding situation, you would probably have cleanliness and animal welfare issues as well that would be enforceable. As long as the animals are well maintained and cared for, I don't have a problem with people maintaining well cared for animals on their property.
Any more discussion? Okay, we have the first and the second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
No.
You know, when you get that list together, that should be in there then, so we make that change on it.
Thank you, yep, I will make sure that gets done.
And chair report, really nothing this time. I do have one more public comment from Andrew Handelin. Oh, I'm sorry, on 6B. Andrew, you were here?
Yes, I'm here.
Please state your name and address for the record, please. Name and address for the record, please.
Andrew Handelin, 5420 Big Bend Road. I'd like to thank the board for listening to people and putting together a committee to decide what the future of the Waterford Police Department will be. I'm requesting that the board come together and do a mutual decision on appointments. I know it's the chair's job. Chair might have a little bias towards the Waterford Police Department as it looks. So appointing the board members and the citizens, I would like majority vote done on that. Make sure everything's okay. And nothing can be skewed one way or the other. That's it, because you haven't appointed the board people we have, so I'm shutting that down for now. That's all I have at the moment.
Yeah, so okay, so we have a list of people who are
Sorry, one more thing.
interested in
Can
the
you put
board.
that list, make that list public for the people who put in for it?
I'm sorry?
Can you make the list public for the people who volunteered for it?
It'll be fine. Right, but the entire board will go through that, we'll narrow it down and the board will decide.
Yeah, for both the citizens and the board members. Correct? Because you have to have 2 board members on the committee and 2 citizens.
Okay, then the board members.
Yeah. Yes, we will, so we will have a special meeting.
Okay.
And we will narrow it down. Per ordinance, the chair makes appointments and the board ratifies it, so we will all be involved in it. I did follow up on a lot of the emails that I received and called people all weekend long, and I suggest maybe others want to do the same. Thank you.
Thank you.
Speaking of special meetings, you know, we're having a real crisis in the police department at the moment. We only have 2 full-time officers now to cover the whole town and the village. So I suggest that we have a meeting as soon as possible, maybe Wednesday, to look at the applications from all the police officers and chief applicants that we've received. Maybe set up some interviews, so we can try to bring somebody on board as soon as possible. We've got officers that are just working ridiculous number of hours. And, you know, I think this is something that we've got to act on immediately. We also had the amendment to the police contract that we tried to put on this tonight's agenda, but that was pulled by the chairperson, so I'd like to have that also on the same special meeting. And we have a concern about the video surveillance policy in the police department. I think we need to discuss that, read policy 337, which I handed out to everybody at the end of last meeting. So I think we really need to get acting on this. We've got a real crisis of lack of staff in the police department right now, and I think we need to interview and hire somebody as quickly as possible.
Yep. We had already talked about that. We'll be setting up a special meeting as soon as possible. And Troy's gone, so.
I agree with Supervisor Durkee. I think we should, with two supervisors here, I think we should set up the meeting today. How about Wednesday?
I'm not available Wednesday.
Sorry?
I'm not available Wednesday.
Thursday?
We've got that thing. Tri-county.
Tomorrow?
You would have enough time for posting.
I'd be available on Wednesday.
So Ryan,
I'm available.
What time on Wednesday?
oh, 4 was available.
Yeah, what time would you like thinking of?
I'll defer to Dale, see if you got the agenda.
Like 3 PM might be good.
What time did you say?
Wednesday at 3 PM.
3 p.m.?
Yeah.
Let's make things in the evening because we have people that are upset when we do things during the day.
Well,
How about 4 PM? That's midway.
I would say that maybe we do it in the evening, so we don't have people who are upset that it's being done during the day.
I think they might have mentioned having it in the afternoon because there was some talk of interviewing some people. So they would be probably conducting some of the interviews.
And that would be closed.
for the committee people? No, it wouldn't.
No, we've got several resumes to look at for hiring, police, I mean, then we have chief position,
Right, but you wouldn't be interviewing on Wednesday.
why couldn't we?
Because you'd
Well,
have to
I'm
set them up with the
asking,
people to
like-
be interviewed.
Yeah, I mean, have you guys reached out to the candidates then and made up the time or anything? Because I mean, that's fine. I want to make sure everybody gets everything. I know Dale has them. Tim, I don't know what you have because they were trickling in. So if you were interviewing for the police or chief, that would definitely be just open.
I'd say not the chief, but just for a patrolman, I could see maybe, a full-time and part-time one right now, just to keep us going.
So, okay, and then interviewing
Tina,
now.
what date is the sanitary district have the room? I believe it's one of these days this week. Make sure the rooms are.
It's tomorrow at 3 PM.
Thank you.
Yeah, so it'd be free on Wednesday then.
Well, I can check the book.
Okay, Wednesday, what time?
Hang on, I gotta check the, nobody told me about.
She's checking the book.
You're in trouble.
It's fine.
So 15 is good.
Oh.
While we're waiting, I have talked with Attorney Dubus, and he is working right now on the contracts with the fire department. After he gets done with it, I will circulate it to the board for their opinions on it.
We have a,
Yeah, that 15th is good.
okay, so what time do we have Wednesday?
I can
Well,
check.
it's like at 3 o'clock.
I would say let's please consider 5:30. we've had issues with people being upset when we make afternoon meetings, so let's avoid that, please.
Well, for interviewing police officers, that wouldn't be open, it'd be open, closed, open, right?
Correct.
Yes, sir.
But what else we gonna be doing on there?
On the amendment to the police contract that was supposed to be on tonight's meeting,
So is that gonna be in closed
talking
session?
about no, that could be after the interviews.
I would recommend that we do the interviews at 3 o'clock and have the meeting at 4 o'clock and go from there.
Okay, I'll defer to you guys to setting up the appointments, the interviews on.
Yes.
We can do that.
So for the record, Tina, I asked for 5:30.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Yes, you did.
So we'd also have the, vote on the amendment to the police contract and discussing the police department video surveillance policy number 337.
Is that the only police policy that you want to discuss? Because there are plenty that are not being followed.
This is the one that came to our attention last week.
We had others that came to our attention a few weeks ago as well. We should add those on as well.
I would have no problem with that, but can we get copies ahead of time, though, please?
That's it.
Can we get copies ahead of time to look at it? Thank you.
Wait, I want everything to be clear. So who's going to draft the agenda? Is that going to be me? Are you going to tell me what's gonna be on? I know that Dale, you've been saying like the camera, and that's great. I just wanna make sure that I have everything, so,
You wanna get together with?
because this has to be posted in different spots too. This isn't just on the town board website.
Yeah.
So,
I could meet with you in the morning.
perfect.
Okay, are we good?
Well, there's one more issue. We received an email from Lieutenant Spiegel regarding allegations of a hostile work environment for one of our police officers. Where are we at with that?
That will be talked about in the special meeting as well.
That'll be a separate meeting that you'll set up?
I think you guys can talk
That'll
about
be a
it.
separate meeting that you'll set up, or do we want to discuss that on Wednesday?
We'll discuss it on Wednesday.
I would think we could discuss it on Wednesday. Does that have to be a, closed session, or can that be an open session?
Well, without knowing what it's
I
about,
don't know
I
what it's
can't
about.
answer that.
You
Yeah.
can, I don't know, so.
I'm gonna wager that it probably, is at this moment an open, closed, open. Depending on if like what's being said, does it involve other people, does it involve other
Right, just like
employees?
the last one that we had in closed session.
Okay, so that, it'll be part of the agenda then if you have to put it.
Perfect.
If you wanna get together with Tina, with all the agenda items,
Yeah.
please.
And then there's one last thing, Tim and I wanted to put the amendment to the police contract on tonight's agenda. And it was my understanding that 2 board members could put an item on the agenda. But Tina did some research, and apparently our special meetings ordinance only allows supervisors to call for a special meeting, not to place items on agendas. So I'd like that, statute 101 to be modified to allow 2 supervisors to add an agenda item to town board agendas in the future.
I'll second that.
That's not properly.
Okay, but it's not an action item tonight.
I will add that to the agenda for Wednesday as well.
I will not be attending that meeting on Wednesday. I know that because you guys can all, I'm not available for that, so if it's gonna be open, closed, open, you're not gonna need the owl anyway, so.
Right? Okay, motion to adjourn, please.
So move.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. 6:15, thank you.